There are a lot of common scams today that have their roots in ancient metaphysical magic. This explains a couple of things. One, why these common scams are so compelling. They remind us instinctively of what was possible before our power was stolen. Second, they allude to a life much better than our current lives filled with struggles that have been imposed on us by our leaders. I saw this really strange documentary the other day on the History Channel about the history of courtship. Most of the ideas we have today about love have their origins in post-hunter-gatherer but pre-large-scale agricultural society. Humans discovered farming about 10,000 years ago, but large agricultural-based societies didn't pop up for another 5,000 years. It was during this critical time period when magic was invented. And magic was invented not for money or wealth or power, but for love. For most of human history, humans lived in small tribes of a few people, people that you knew your entire life. But during the 5,000-year period after farming, but before large civilizations and the rulers that always came with them, was a sudden demand for magic. A demand for magic that would create love. But unlike today, where most magical spells are cast by women attempting to get men to fall for them, it was the opposite. During that time period, labor was needed, so men were preferred. So it wasn't common to have a family with 5 sons and 1 daughter. 1 daughter just in case she might marry into a rich family. But the 5 sons to do the work needed to create enough food to live. This was back when farming was still a very experimental process and required a lot of human and animal labor. This was also before the rise of a large state and with them the use of slave labor. So most labor was family labor or small community labor. Nobody had the wherewithal to invade other lands and take men as slaves. This meant there were many men and very few women. This led to a desire for magic that would make women fall in love with you. And with so much desire for magic, with so many men feeling such deep desires for love, magic was discovered. Magic was used. Some say this was also the same magic that was then later used to create massive power and wealth and the creation of large states, and the violence that large states were capable of. There is a love coach that has a 100% success rate. Her clients are more than happy to share their experiences, but not the specific techniques this love coach uses. This love coach is very careful about sharing her magic. She fears that if this magic does get into the wrong hands, it would be disastrous. She has a long waiting list and a non-refundable price of $25,000. There is a love potion floating around online that has its origins in something very real. The real spell involves chants and essential oils. The specific chants are the crux. You must say them correctly, and you must say them almost like musical lyrics with the right timing. But since these chants can only be learned from a master, nearly all people selling such chants are scammers. But if you do manage to learn these chants and say these chants correctly, all you need to do is think of your target. You don't even have to know them. Once you learn the right chants and say them correctly and focus consistently on your target will find you. Your target will seduce you, and your target will obediently do anything you ask to please you. The reason this love spell was eradicated was an angry person focused on somebody who is dead. And because this love spell is so powerful, it can even bring back the dead. And this evil person brought back many people from the dead who did his bidding and caused an untold amount of emotional and financial agony. Some say this whole thing is a scam, that this love doctor has set up some kind of a system that only sorts for people who are already very likely to fall in love. One sign she might be a scammer is that none of her testimonials come from people who have been married for more than a year. and none of her alleged successful unions between happy lovers have produced any children. Or maybe this is part of the deal, that in order to access her potentially black magic love powers, you have to agree to never have children, and your romantic affair, even if married, will self-destruct in a year into an unstoppable slide into insanity. Once the state stole and used the ancient love spells to create power and wealth, humans have been killing each other ever since. There is, however, tales of underground love spells born of pure white magic. White magic that can only be used for good, and if they are used for evil, they will only destroy the evildoers. This is a sign that pure white magic is being used, that there will never be any harm to innocence. One theory is that even if you do know you are being scammed, since this is based on very ancient magic, this can lead you down the path to better and more powerful magic. Which is perhaps why most self-help gurus only talk about instant riches and fast cures and how to make millions or lose weight while you sleep. Because perhaps they know the secret of magic is the same today as it was thousands of years ago. To first learn the secrets of magic, then to practice them consistently, and to practice them secretly and only with a pure heart.